Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Now, while the CBI is fighting it out in the Calcutta High Court to gain custody of TMC leaders in the Narda scam case, during a recent hearing, senior advocate Siddharth Luthra made an interesting remark in the court. Defending the TMC leaders, Luthra said that CBI is an agency which is hanging on a stay order of the Supreme Court. Now, the story behind this offhand remark is quite interesting. It is the story of how an MTNL employee brought down the CBI and fought the legal fight to get it declared unconstitutional. The stay order that Luthra was talking about is actually what has kept CBI going for almost 6 to 7 years now without a final decision on its constitutionality, and that's the story I'll be telling you more about in today's episode of KYC or Know Your Constitution. Now, the story begins with this man called Navendra Kumar, who was actually an employee of the Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited, that is MTNL New Delhi, and he had a criminal conspiracy and corruption case registered against him in July 2001. The CBI investigated the case and filed a charge sheet in November 2004, and a few months later in 2005, Kumar went on to challenge the very formation of the CBI instead in the Guwahati High Court. He questioned the CBI's powers to carry on functions that it now carries. So this included its powers to register an FIR, arrest someone, investigate an offence, file charge sheets against the accused and prosecute them. His first attempt was actually unsuccessful because a single judge rejected his petition. He then went on to file an appeal against this decision before a two-judge bench. Now let us first understand how CBI was actually formed. CBI's powers it's usually claimed that they can be traced back to a pre-independence law called the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. This law was a result of several attempts since World War II to put in a system in place against bribery and corruption across the country. So the law in its current form says that it intends to constitute a special police force in Delhi for investigation of certain offences in the Union Territories as well. Now, this small, now 6-section long act has had several amendments made to it over the years. So the preamble to the act initially provided for the special task force for the state of Delhi for investigating certain offences committed in departments of the central government. But this was of course later changed to allow probe of offences in union territories as well. Section 2 of the law empowers the central government to constitute or put in place a special police force called the Delhi Special Police Establishment for investigation of certain offences as per Section 3 of the Act. Now, even this provision, Section 2, initially said that this special police establishment would be set up for the state of Delhi for investigation of offences in that state, but gradually this was amended and Section 6 was completely changed in 1946 to now allow this Delhi Special Police Establishment to exercise its powers in any state with the consent of that particular state's government, basically. So, in a sense, the special police establishment was to exercise unrestricted power of investigation within the Union Territory of Delhi back then, and for other states across the country, the state government had to consent to allow the CBI to investigate there. This consent bit is still the position presently. Now, post this, in 1963, a resolution was issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs setting up a Central Bureau of Investigation in Delhi starting 1st April 1963. You can see the resolution on your screens right now. This resolution basically said that this will be for investigation of crimes that were till then handled by the Delhi Special Police Establishment. The Bureau was set up with 6 divisions, with the first one saying that it'll be concerning investigation and anti-corruption. Now let's get back to the Guwahati High Court. Here's what it ruled. Firstly, the court pointed out that the MHA resolution, that is the 1963 resolution, didn't even mention any provisions of the DSPE, that is Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. I will be referring to this act as the DSPE Act from now on. So the court said that this resolution did not mention any provision of this act as the source of its power. So the court concluded that CBI was a newly constituted body and not the same as the DSPE. Then came the 3 lists in the 7th schedule of the Constitution. This was an important question on the legislative competence of the Parliament to enact a law to establish a police force with the power of investigation. I'll tell you why. Now, the seventh schedule of the Constitution distributes the lawmaking power between the center and the states by providing for three lists: the union list, the state list, and the concurrent list. As per Article 246, the central government has exclusive powers to make laws on the subjects in the union list, while the state government can make laws exclusively on subjects in the state list. And as for the third list, that is the concurrent list, both central and state governments can make laws on the subjects listed under it. But Article 254 clarifies that in such a situation in which there is any inconsistency between the laws made by the parliament and the states on the third list, that is the concurrent list subject, then the central law will prevail, that is the parliamentary law will prevail. Now here are the arguments. The CBI in this case had tried to argue that the source of power to create such a body can be traced to entry 8 of the union list, which mentions Central Bureau of Intelligence and Investigation. On the other hand, here's how the entire debate around federalism arose, because the petitioner Navendra Kumar had contended that police is actually a state subject under entry 2 of the state list, and so the central government could not have taken away this power from the states. The court finally now referred to Constituent Assembly debates to understand the scope of the word investigation used in entry 8 of the list 1, which I had mentioned before. This was the CBI's defense. And among other such remarks, it referred to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar clarifying, you can read the quote on your screens right now. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had clarified that the word investigation here in this entry just means general inquiry to find out what is going on. He had said that this would not include investigating into a crime, because that is left exclusively to a police officer, and police, as we know, is a state subject. So this is why the High Court concluded that the resolution, the MHA resolution constituting CBI, cannot be traced to entry 8 of union list as well, even though it mentions a Central Bureau of Intelligence and Investigation, because of this clarification during the Constituent Assembly debates. Now the CBI also tried to justify its constitution by referring to another entry, which was entry 80 of the union list, which basically allows, in short, it allows the parliament to extend the operation of the police force of one state to another state. But the High Court rejected this argument as well, saying that this entry does not actually allow the central government to make a law creating a separate police force altogether, which was the case here, because the CBI, as before, the court had held that it was a new police force altogether in order to investigate crimes and file charge sheets. So with all of this, the court concluded that CBI has been investigating offences and prosecuting alleged offenders in the garb of being an organization under the DSPE Act 1946, that is the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946, whereas it then said that the MHA resolution was not even a proper executive action because it wasn't the decision of the Union Cabinet and neither did it have the President assent. So the court in fact said that the resolution can best be regarded as departmental instructions and it isn't even a law. The High Court finally quashed the 1963 MHA resolution while ruling that CBI is neither an organ nor a part of the DSPE, that is the Delhi Special Police Establishment, and that it cannot be treated as a police force constituted under the DSPE Act 1946. Now this was on 6th November 2013. That's when the High Court judgment came. 3 days later, the then Chief Justice of India P. Satarsivam and Justice Ranjana Desai, in an urgent hearing that was held at the residence of the CJI, stayed the High Court judgment. By staying this order, it was reported that the Supreme Court effectively restored more than 9,000 criminal trials pending in CBI courts all across the country, and the case has been pending ever since. The case has been listed several times but hasn't come up for final hearing yet. So as per the Supreme Court website, the case was last listed on 21st July 2020, though the last available order copy on the website is from 26 June 2019. On that day, the court had simply adjourned the matter, saying list after summer vacations. And this is the stay order. The stay order in this case that Luthra said the CBI was hanging on. This is Apurva Mandhani for The Print. Do follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such videos.